We're back. El Rushbo, serving humanity. Half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. No kaboom from Paul Ryan Medicare bomb. Democrats thought Ryan's Medicare proposal would shift the focus away from Romney, would terrify the elderly, take places like Florida and other key states off the table. That's not happening. Not yet, anyway. This is a great example how the media writes stories for themselves. This story is meant to assure Chris Matthews everything's okay. And Lawrence O'Donnell, don't worry, Lawrence, everything's okay. It hadn't happened yet, but it's gonna. And don't worry, angrier Mitchell. Everything's cool out there. We got the forehead working on some ads. That's also in the story. The forehead is working on some ads. Well, you know, Obama's shot his wad on some of these ads, folks. He has blown out the budget on some of these ads on Medicare, and it hasn't really had a profound effect. And now Romney is free to start spending. Since his convention started, that's when the spigot is opened, and all the money he's raised can now be spent. I also think, by the way, I had an email during the break, asked a couple of breaks ago, if I thought it was an advantage or disadvantage that the Republican convention is first. As the emailer said, I think it'd be better to go second, because that way then you get to respond to what these guys are saying. And I really think, in this case, I disagree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at if the Democrat convention were going on right now, what would it be? It'd be the Republicans hate women, the Republicans hate women, it would be the Republicans hate women, the Republicans are for the rich, it'd be everything that Obama and the Democrat, and that would force an entirely different Republican convention, would it not? They'd have to respond to that, or they would think they did. And so rather than talk about the economy, they'd be talking about this war on women. It'd be even worse than it was on the first night. So it's a blessing, I think, that they're going first now, because it puts the Democrats on the defensive to have to respond to some of this stuff to the extent that they will. Now, I don't think they're going to. I think the Democrats are going to do what they're going to do regardless what order they go in, because that's really all they've got, is to run out and tell these continual mischaracterizations and lies about the Republicans. Now, the fact checkers that are out there trying to tell you that Ryan lied about the Janesville General Motors factory, they are lying their heads off about Ryan's Medicare plan. The fact checkers, the same fact check. This is really, it's astounding to me. It is blatant. And I know they're gunning for the morons and the uninformed and the people not paying attention. What they are saying is that Ryan will force everybody on Medicare to leave the system and move to vouchers. And that's what the Democrats are going to say at their convention next week. And let me tell you you know the truth. You're 55 or older, nothing changes. Not a single thing changes. But these Democrat fact checkers are out saying that everybody on Medicare gets thrown out of the system and is turned into vouchers. The Ryan plan will give people the option to either stay with the current plan or to opt for the same plan that Congress and federal workers have. That's the option. Those are the two options. If you're 55 plus, nothing changes if you don't want it to, or you get the same plan that a member of Congress or the Senate has. And their voucher characteristics. Now, for people who are 20s and 30s, yeah, the system is going to change for them. It has to, if it's going to be around. They haven't paid a lifetime's worth of taxes into it yet. But the people who've paid a lifetime's worth of taxes into it are not going to have the program ripped out from under them. But the Democrats are actively lying and saying that that's what's going to happen. That's what the Politico story is about. Don't worry. It hadn't happened yet. We haven't been able to hurt Ryan yet, but we got some ads coming from the forehead from Begala. Again, I retreat to where I always go. Sane world, a just world where there's proper karma. These guys get stoked. These guys get skunked. These guys get wiped out in November as a matter of justice. Now, I'm naive and think that it can happen that way, and I know it doesn't, but we all can dream. This is what they're going to do. They don't have anything else. They can't tell the truth about Obama's record. They can't tell the truth about Obama's programs. They can't tell the truth about Obama's plans. They don't dare tell us what's in store for the next 4 years. They don't dare go there. They don't dare describe what the next 4 years of Obama are. All they have is to lie about Ryan and Romney and Republicans in general. Here's Condoleezza Rice from last night, America based on an idea.
We are the most successful economic and political experiment in human history. That is the true basis of American exceptionalism. You see, the essence of America, what really unites us, is not nationality or ethnicity or religion. It is an idea. And what an idea it is. That you can come from humble circumstances and you can do great things. That it does not matter where you came from, it matters where you are going. My fellow Americans, ours has never been a narrative of grievance and entitlement. We have never believed that I am doing poorly because you are doing well. We have never been jealous of one another and never envious of each other's successes.
Oh, yes, we have. That has been the trademark of the Democrat Party my entire life. What she means is a majority of Americans have not yet descended into that. That's what this election is all about. But I'll tell you about Condoleezza Rice. That speech, her presence, it just epitomizes class. Just epitomizes dignity. Now, you and I watch Condoleezza Rice or Susanna Martinez or any of these other speakers, and we ask her, how in the world does anybody ever get away with characterizing these people as racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, thieves, thugs? How does that ever happen? How has the Republican brand been so distorted with people like this? Say what you want about Bush. Bush was a classy individual, a dignified man. Dick Cheney, ditto. I have never understood. I still don't. And I'll admit to being naive. I don't understand this idea that Dick Cheney's Darth Vader. Now, I know him personally, but he's soft-spoken. But this idea that, and they've made a lot of people believe it. Even some of Republicans talk about that contrast between Cheney and Ryan. Yeah, dead Ryan, they're never going to be able to characterize him as the Satan that Dick Cheney is. I've never, ever understood it. And the same thing to Sarah Palin. I remember I blew up at dinner guests at my own house who started telling me what an idiot Palin was. They actually weren't saying. They said, we got to throw Palin overboard. We can't. That's why. She's been destroyed. It doesn't matter where she's been destroyed. She's a liability. I said, well, who destroyed her? Did she destroy herself or did the media? It doesn't matter, Rush. She's been destroyed. And I said, well, so you just sit there and you just going to let our enemies determine who our candidates are and who our viable leaders are. And as they destroy them, you move on to the next one. And then they destroy that one. You want to throw that one over. At what point does this stop? I remember yelling and screaming at dinner guests at my own house. I don't understand this. I've never understood how they so easily get away with this demonization. Don't tell me they've got the media on their side. I'm talking about how it is that people believe it. What mean thing has Dick Cheney ever done to anybody? Or Sarah Palin? They tried with Condoleezza Rice. Some of you may remember when she was Secretary of State for Bush. You remember some of the editorial cartoons about her as an Aunt Jemima type figure, or some of the hideous editorial cartoons characterizing her or exaggerating her racial characteristics, as cartoonists do, and making her out to be some slave who was performing sex acts on Bush, and that's how she got the job. And then you hear her speak, and how in the world does that stuff ever stick? Now, with her, I don't necessarily think that it did as widely as it's obviously stuck with Palin and Cheney. It does continually surprise. It makes me wonder, who are the people that fall for this? Who are these people that end up believing this? So we know they're morons, and but how does it happen? I know I sound naive and simplistic, but I can't help it. One more. No, I got to run. I always take this break too late, end up being squeezed for time. So let me take the break.